Hello everyone. This is a video, the New Year speech of the retired president. Okay, sounds great and should be the first completely English video I've done specially for you. Okay? So I say welcome to a very special edition of my political heightening of awareness, as I always call that, lightly overblown, what I produce on video. The year 2013 offered my possibilities to me to air many thoughts of mine into the public. YouTube is a wonderful stage that cannot receive enough chorus of praise. Its freedom of expression worldwide, up to the limit, simply fabulous. Not available everywhere, but everywhere where I hope that it will be received well and perfectly. Yes, so I thought it would be great to make at the end of the year a dignified New Year speech. I missed doing it 1 and 2 years ago in Carinthia. There a fantastic golden Christmas tree would stand beside me in the background. But the cameraman was not able to do the job then, so it was sadly not possible. But now I received some interesting information from the special Good Friday Grill Alarm Call Service. Stupid name, but it's a very great platform here in Europe. Interesting news. So, via my copy editor, Rudy B, and I thought that's good basic for a speech of a retired president, and I can use it and change it a bit with even sharper and stronger formulation. This former president should talk openly and should admit all the huge amount of bullshit he had ordered and made to spread fear and terror, and what else the devil know, during his period of service. So, as I said, it's time to do it, this special speech of a retired president. I hope I will do it somewhat perfectly. I have written down my speech, sure, I could tell you the content, but I need to convey my thoughts so that they make sense. And I will follow the right direction. There runs no teleprompter for me, as usually for the politicians. They are allowed to read and make the viewer believe that they are speaking their own thoughts. But it runs in capital letters through the picture for them, and even then they are stammering. But I must try to pull myself through the jungle of words, more or less, hopefully, without an accident. Okay? So, from now on, I'm not myself anymore, and I'm now the former president. At first I want to have a drink on you and say good health and all the best in 2014. This is a very, very best drink you can imagine. Carrot juice made with a champion juicer. Fantastic. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear citizens of this country. Dear electorate, dear electoral ignorant people, whenever these greetings from you are seen and are heard. If you believe I would sit here alive and would freeze my buns of during these murky, dank days, as well as you, and maybe fall into depression, you would be wrong. As well as you always have been wrong in myself and my work. But to this I'm coming to shortly. First I want to make you aware once again the big distance which exists between us. While this video is emitted into the world, I enjoy the admirably warm sun somewhere on this globe. But this nice place is far away and not available for the normal tourists. With strong means of always wrong use development aid funds, even from your luxuriant donation money, a marvelous resort was created only for us, people like me, the heads of government in the world, even if they are retired in the meantime. But for you, this place is nothing. This would be even nicer. My luxury life is only possible because you were naive enough to pay to me my too high monthly pension. I have reached this area, of course, again only at public expense, because nevertheless, this is a point of honor that I can enjoy these once had advantages from my position up to my end of life. You stupids have still paid for bodyguards, officers, employees, etc. and etc. beside my high pensions, although nobody take notice of me. If I went out into the streets quite normally, who would recognize me, want somewhat of me? But no, money doesn't matter. For you, the state servants, every expenditure is okay. Yes, actually, I don't need to spend a single cent of my pension privately. Thus, this was already during my terms of office. You all have always perfectly supplied me with the best what produces our country. I might live always at your expense only on the five-star bird, although I never had performed even the smallest services in your community. And for this you allowed to stand in a queue in the chip booths around the corner. Hence we all are thick after some years in these state offices, and everybody is fat and puffy and becomes finally homely and unsightly. Many of us are so stuffed that they can be convoyed around only in wheelchairs. But it doesn't matter, because you are, for us, not important. Today, I simply feel good to talk about some things of which you are certainly not aware of. However, you should listen, because once again I will not publicize. I was a liar. I have lied, so that I was chosen by you. Of course, I was not the only one who has done this. Everybody makes this who seeks for a political position of power. All politicians lie, and you know that too. All politicians lie to you and make high and holy promises to you to respect you and to work for you, to fight for you and to prepare you with all possible comfort. But we politicians can only hornsmuggle you so that we receive the power from you. Although all politicians lie, there is a difference between the others and me. Now I can talk openly about it, about many utterly lies, because I'm except service. The others, my still active colleagues, must dress all the lies in a nice torrent of words and to fine, honorable intentions. And yet all politicians have only one single aim: to reach the levers and to control the state machine of power and to sit there forever. You, dear citizens, have the illusions that this monster called government, this God whom you adore and everybody revere, will solve all problems in your life. This supposed protector and surveyor, this stinking heap of inhuman suppression to which you submit so keenly, is, if there is something what shows the perfect example of the pure evil, this thing, this monster, the government, your government. Your problem is that most of you are too simple-minded to recognize that. You revere this thing and pay your duties greedily charged to you and allow the monster to lay you to a short chain, to check you constantly and to supervise you around the clock. Instead of thinking and acting independently, you cling to one incapable leader after the other. he should save and protect you. It is ridiculous. Your behavior is ridiculous. Your cowardice and irresponsibility nourishes this monster. It commands and you obey, as good compliant slaves. And the worst is that you still hold your own blind obedience for a virtue. You think that you are good people. However, you are not. Blind obedience makes you into only silly robots. You run over and over again behind some lies and phrases talking politicians, as I was one, which promises to look after you and your problems. You hand over frivolously your freedom to political tricksters and receive for it only the next empty promise of security. And you will have to pay again and again the price of your own ignorance. But your addiction to submit is incurably, you are incurably ill. But you won't believe. Some of you wish for themselves real freedom. Even if these are only very few, they rather like to live as intelligent people and would accept the challenges of an unpredictable future as to live furthermore like slaves in a cage. I suggest, just leave them alone. If you insist for yourselves on the fact that you receive food change furthermore, then you cannot be detained. However, don't put these on other people who have decided to be free. You think that a cross on a piece of paper gives a certain people, so to me and my colleagues, the right to control you. However, in reality, there is no right to control other people. Nevertheless, you are for some reasons of the firm conviction that governments have the right to control you, that the constitution of this government gives a permission to interfere into your life. You accept that you are the possession of politicians and that the politicians have the right to take from you what you created. You accept that we, the government, have the right to say to you what you have to do and to omit. You refuse to recognize the reality that neither crosses on votes nor legislation rituals can give to somebody the right to control you. You feel good in your role as a possession of the politicians. And in all governments sitting at the uppermost places, these wonderful multi-talents, which are actually liar and swindler, some are even wilders. There are the wildest stories. You can even see their madness out of their faces. Actually, they are looking mad already. But no, they are sitting firmly in the saddle, were pushed on, higher and higher, and they are greedy enough to want to be also higher and higher. A case which I have in recollection is typical for our whole system. One of these types stubbed out a cigarette in excitement at the back of the hand of a colleague during a discussion. Each of you, dear citizen, would have received up to 4 years in prison because of physical injury. However, this case was not recorded from the police. Internally, everybody looks at you anyway only as silly vocal cattle, as an annoying mess which has to be made happy. They compile about the citizens who rebel in so-called lunatics lists to be able to strike one day against you. Today they already collect proofs. It is quite pathetic, as you still believe that you are living in a free country. Nevertheless, there is really hardly anything left what was not sucked out every day by the tentacles of the parasites from us, the government. You can hardly steer a finger without permission of a government, without they are taking a part of it. A child, for example, who would sell fresh juices in the front garden, like this, offends against half a dozen laws. You cannot produce anything, sell or build without paying one fee after the others to the state. without jumping over a little barrier after another, without having filed out this or that form, without applying for this license or for that permission, without having to undergo audits and suitability tests, without creeping into the bureaucrats' assholes in hope having got to the right one which gives you this holy permission for this on which you have anyway a natural claim. And you still said that you are free? You applaud to the canting, deceitful, feet-breaking up-slave state. What exists to celebrate in this state? You are proud of this state? That's nothing to write home about. Proud of the disgusting tax collectors who are still too well paid by you? Proud of your unqualified politicians who send your children into wars? Proud of the corrupt bankers and unsuspecting politicians for whom your children and their children are in debt up to the ears and condemned them to everlasting slavery? Why the government keeps you all like sheep who must be sheared regularly? Proud to live in a country in which your biggest bootlickers decide what you have to eat, what to drink, where to go, what to build, where to work, what to produce, and what you have to think? Proud of a country where this greedy horde of politicians steals more than half of your incomes? And you fall for every bugbear which liar painted for you at the walls and the horizon? We create only for you one problem after another. Wars, recession, terrorism, poverty, criminal activity, illnesses, environmental disasters, and you are meanwhile coached excellently for the fact that you shout as a solution on it after your own enslavement. Benjamin Franklin said more than 200 years ago, "Who gives up freedom for safety deserves none of both." You have done it. You have lost both. And that's why you deserve nothing else than this, your government. I take just a sip of my carrot juice so that the words may run better. Yes, but you don't understand anything from health, I'm sure. Okay. Yes, you look up at the biggest criminals of the world and hold them for your omnipotent surveyors, and now you receive their receipt. I know by first hand how easy it is to cheat you and to manipulate you. You have always re-elected me because I have told exactly the same lies as all the other political parasites. I have done it only a little bit more persuasive, packed in a better spectacle. I had promised to save you before the economic depression, which was caused by my government. I had promised to save you before the wars in which my government was jointly responsible with. I had promised to protect you before criminal activities, which was caused by my incapable government. I had promised to save you before the terrorism, which was promoted and caused by my government. I had promised that I protect you from all awful things which you can imagine, no matter whether really or produced, if you accept me only as your master and hand over to me the control of your life. I deceived you and had lied, as well as all the other politicians has always done. I acted always only a little bit more skillful than these respected colleagues. I had cheated not only you, dear spectators, but I also had been able to persuade all people behind the scenery of the fact that I'm a perfect goofer for them, a useful puppet which dances after the whistle. Otherwise I would never have landed over and over again on the ballot. You had always voted for me because I was, and it is still, for you comfortable to think in the fact that it solves all the problems if you only comply with me and give me boundless power. It is a lie for which you will fall over and over again. If you only choose the right leader, there will be only luck and satisfaction in the world. That's funny. And everything has nothing to do with your own aims and actions. We politicians bring fear and terror in this world to make you forever depending on ourselves and our so-called solutions. And you applaud, although we cause the worst hidenesses, because we use only melodious words and speak only of the best intentions. My dear fellow citizens, what are actually your intentions? You argue that you direct your wishes to the government only out of best intentions. You only want to give to the pauper food. You want to protect the innocent. You want to punish the bad guys, at least you say this. But if your intentions are really so perfect and upright, why don't you recognize the big damages which caused by the so-called solutions of the politicians? Have you not got what all political social programs have done to the poor? They have transformed millions of people into empty covers, without purpose in life and without hope. Have you not got how the state schools have made millions of children to ignorant and apathetic people whose only ability is to be dutiful? Have you not got that the political solution from the economy of the socialists' redistribution apparatus up to the bank deception system and his counterfeit has led this once so rich country into poverty? Have you not got that everything that we touch, we the politicians, immediately changes to dirt? If your intentions are really good, why you have not noticed that every time that you lay the challenges in the hands of some leaders, the poor are further enslaved, the innocent suppressed even stronger, and the bad people become even mightier? Are you only blind, or is it something else worse? Is it possible that you simply ignore your wishes? Helping others and to organize the community indicates being involved in the uncertainty of life and to take over this responsibility for a life as a free person? Is your fear of it the reason for the fact that you run over and over again to the elections in hope a survivor may save you before the reality and above all what the future brings? Why otherwise you should fall again and again for the completely ridiculous lies which all politicians tell over and over again? Every election is nothing else than a competition of the best liars. None will keep his promises. Everybody has only one aim: to control you. But you will never understand this. They let you choose further between pest and cholera, and you will further prove that you are incapable to see through the deception. You will further ask for your own enslavement. You are completely incapable to understand that you also have other possibilities, as to choose between different tyrants who interfere in your life. Let me clarify this quite definitely. If you have voted for me or for my opponents, then you are really only simple-minded idiots. You have fallen exactly for the same trick which the megalomaniac rulers have already used before thousands of years. I do not expect from you that you awake from your illusions. This is virtually impossible. No, I do not speak of you and to you so that you stop enslaving yourself. I appeal to you to keep you away from a tiny small minority of people. A minority which understands what freedom is and which still strives for it. What is quite astonishing before the background of the constant indoctrination by so-called education system and the media. There are really still a few people who appreciate freedom. You surely have heard from them. These are the people whom you despise and offend. These are the spinners and extremists, the people who do not want to subordinate themselves and swim against the mainstream. They are the black sheep whom you mock only because they want to leave the way to the slaughterhouses. They do not fit to you because they are not like you. They are mad outsiders. No, they are not like you. These people dare to speak the truth, but you do not. These people think independently. You are not able to do this. Every progress in the history of the humanity was their merit, and they had to fight against the constant insults, accusations, and direct power with which the Dali majority tried to dominate them. They have stopped the slavery, while people like you sat at home. They were the people that have broken off that women were treated like animals, while you oppose these people from your home. They have raised their voices against the injustice, while the supposedly so good citizens have shut up and have obeyed. They have argued against the warmonger in this country and in countless other countries, while people like you have been quiet and closed their eyes before the mass murder. They have endangered themselves for the sake of truth and justice, while people like you avoided every possibility announced. No, these people are not like you. These extremists and radicals, they have taken the responsibility that they are human beings differently to you, while people like you remained only as silly sheep. For this, I sincerely thank you, also in the name of my colleagues, because you secure my and our regulated excessive old age pensions, and my and our life filled with all the comfort. Only a few people can draw the big lot. Maybe you belong to these people the next time. Till then, I wish you a good time. Goodbye.